What is up, everyone? Welcome to round one of the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons November 2024 tournament. This is officially 1 year of recording. We started in November of 2023. So thanks to everyone who's been watching and welcome to all you new folks. Without further ado, let's dive into those deck lists. It's been a minute since we've had a Joe Brew on the channel, but he is back with some more Bouncy Ankh goodness with some new cards. For those of you that don't remember, Joe does not look at deck lists. He does not look at meta. He only brews what he wants and finds cards he finds, well, just fun to play and tries to build around them. So that's exactly what we have here. This list is trying to win a few different ways. The best way, actually, probably, and the easiest combo kill he has is Ankh Mishra and Parallax Tide, which used to be the main Parallax win con. But there's also some fun stuff here in Umbilicus, which lets him bounce cards to his hand or force his opponent to pay 2 life if they really want to keep him on the board. And 4 lifelines as well, which is pretty rad, which lets you return creatures from the graveyard to play, which is especially important when you look at the creatures he has and notices that there are some echo creatures here. He also has some Mystic Snake as a way to counter while also providing a beatdown plan, some Multani's Acolytes, again the echo draw a card, which is super relevant, Mana Ward to bounce all these ETB creatures back to hand, Avalanche Riders, and Get to Slinger. Alright, so this is sweet. I'm excited to see how it goes. Let's see what his opponent is playing. Next up we have Rokk return to the camera after barely missing out on the finals in last month's tournament with his own take on Deadguy Ale. First up, we've got some really cool hand attack, which is more akin, I think, to the newer white-black control lists that were running around last year, doing pretty well in 4 dresses for Gerard's Verdict. He is running Dark Ritual, of course, because you got to get those hippies out as fast as possible. Always love to see that. He's also running 3 Skeletal Scrying, which again is also, I think, an innovation from white-black control more than just Deadguy Ale. Has 4 Vindicates, 4 Swords of Plowshares, 2 Seal of Cleansing Mane, Grinning Demon, which is a really cool add. This is a card that as long as you can trample over your opponent, you can really put the screws to them, but also deals 2 damage to you every turn. So there is definitely some give and take, but 4 mana for a 6/6 is just always going to be a good time. He's also running 4 Exalted Angels, 4 Withered Wretch for some main deck graveyard hate, and as I mentioned, 4 hippies. The sideboard seems pretty normal for a white-black deck. So yeah, it seems like a really cool version of Deadguy Ale, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. So let's get into those games. Okay, we are coming in on Rokk's second mulligan here. Joe did keep a solid 7. I did see 2 lifelines in hand. I hope he has a green source because I believe he has a Bird's Paradise as well. But yeah, Rokk unfortunately not seeing much in the mana department. Had to put 2 hands back. And is now trying to decide if he wants to go to 4. It's a little hard to tell if he does have lands. Oh, and Joe does have a forest there. That's good. Forest Birds is probably the exact same, or exact best thing that Joe wants to be doing. Alright, we are keeping here. Rokk putting 2 to the bottom. And Joe's going to lead us off with the birds. Say go. Alright, here's a Dark Ritual into a hippie. Hell yeah. That is exactly what I want to see from Rokk's deck, especially after such a, well, rough start. But there's a Mana War, and that hippie is going to get bounced. Excellent response from Joe here. Now, he has a clock, and we'll see what Rokk has. There's a Gerard's Verdict. Alright, discard 2. For each land you discard, I gain 3 life. He's taking a point to cast it. Now, those 2 lifelines are a little tough to cast. I would definitely get rid of 1. No, we are going to just get rid of both. Yeah, that makes sense. We got to read it here because this card does not see Premodern play. Basically, as long as there's another creature on the battlefield at the end step, I believe, any creature that went to the graveyard comes back. Alright, Joe hitting his land drops. Yeah, gonna go to combat, swing with Mana War. And are we going to see an Ankh? Or are we going to see an Umbilicus? There's an Umbilicus. Alright, I believe that's at upkeep. That player has to either return a permanent or pay 2 life. And Rokk, of course, going to pay 2 life. And I think realizing that Joe is going to be able to bounce his Mana War and bounce whatever Rokk chooses to play, which is of course going to be another hippie. Yep, return the Mana War to hand. The plan is working. Ooh, there's a Mystic Snake. How about a counterspell on hand? All right, we're gonna bounce the hippie again and pass to you. And this time, Rokk taking 2 damage. Now, the combination of Umbilicus and Ankh, especially when you've already established a bit of a board presence here. So that's what those were for. I was wondering, those are morph indicators. It's a 2/2. Of course, we all know it's Exalted Angel, but yeah. A bit risky, honestly, with the Mana War just being able to bounce every time. There's also a Boomerang. And just gotta be careful to not forget about his Birds of Paradise down there as well. That could be a good bounce target. And no, Joe's just gonna pass. He does have Mystic Snake mana up. Alright, we're gonna swing in for 2. And Joe just correctly saying, how much is Exalted Angel? Because I know that's what it is. It's 4. Yes, you'd be taking 4 if he pays to flip it. Alright, we're going to Boomerang. And you do have to reveal it when it leaves the table. Pretty sure. That's a Grinning Demon, actually. That's right, it could be the secret morph. Judges in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe if a morph leaves the table for any reason, you do have to show it. Okay, we got a Skeletal Scry here for 2. Take 2 life, draw 2 cards. A bit better when you have an Exalted Angel, but this should be okay. He did draw a Terminus. He will be able to blow up the Umbilicus and stop this bouncing madness, at least for a little while. But that is basically what Joe's deck wants to do. And Joe's just going to pass. He's really telegraphing a counterspell here. Or maybe just say he has nothing else in hand, because I believe that Mana War has to bounce something. So if you have nothing, it bounces the Mana War. Alright, we're going to dress here. What do you have going on? And in response to the dress, I would just cast the snake, right? No, we're going to reveal. There's only one target, the Ankh, which will get binned. There's a Terminate. Tapping 4 for the snake. Wait, is that not a Mystic Snake? Is that something else? Okay, he is going to counter the Vindicate. He realized he should have done that. I was wondering about that. Rokk being a very nice player, we are playing casually to let that remain on the field. Although something still should have been bounced, right? Oh, the Mystic Snake returned hand. Okay, we're on the same page now here. Yeah, Mystic Snake is a 4 flash when it enters, counter target spell. Okay, so it doesn't care if it's a creature or whatever. So functionally, Joe is going to have a free counter spell and a free bounce spell available to him every turn, which is really tough for Rokk to deal with right here. And he is just going to pass, choosing not to play out anything. Joe forgetting about his own Umbilicus here. Gonna need to put a die on there just to keep it straight. There's another one. You just play out another one? It does just leave you open. You don't have a counter spell, but nope, we're just gonna pass. Rokk gonna bounce a card, play out the Wasteland again. And I'm not sure what is going to break this stalemate. Joe has effectively locked down the board, but both players just keep bouncing lands. Okay, we are gonna... Yes, do you choose to counter it? And the only way that this game actually progresses is that Rokk keeps playing things. Because then Joe just bounces a Mystic Snake and can still play out a land and get ahead on lands to the point where he's actually going to be able to double spell holding up the Mystic Snake counterspell. Which I don't think he made a land drop there. No, he did. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, both players are just gonna keep playing lands or taking 2 damage, and that is kind of the point. Really grinding the game to a halt. There's another lifeline. Doesn't seem good in this situation. He does have a bunch of mana up. That was going to pass. Rokk is taking 2. He's sick of it. He wants to get some damage through. Can Rokk double spell here? There's a duress. Is that duress going to hit anything worth hitting? Can't hit the Mystic Snake. Does hit that Parallax Tide. Those double Parallax Tide. I can see why Joe did not counter here. Alright, there's another Umbilicus. And yeah, I'm not sure how Rokk gets around this. He may have been trying to bait out the dress or the snake to get counterspelled so he could kill it. That would be the best way, but it looks like that did not happen, so he's just gonna pass. Honestly, what Rokk needs is a Cabal Therapy. Alright, bouncing a card to hand. He is at 5. Plays out the same Wasteland. Alright, play a Morph. Which, this one will get countered. It is an Angel. Are we finally going to see... Yes, there is a Vindicate. Oh, no. No, I guess that works. I mean, there's enough bounce stuff. I would have just killed the snake, honestly. But I get it. That Umbilicus is annoying. However, it's also a body, and Rokk goes down to 2. No whites. Well, I guess he has the birds. So there is an Enlightened Tutor here. Joe can easily go get another Umbilicus. There's a Withered Wretch. Some graveyard hate, but also just a blocker. Alright, we are gonna Enlightened Tutor here. What are we grabbing? There's an Ankh. Both players, though, have a pretty big land. Oh, wait, no. Oh, no. Never mind, with those Parallax Tides, Joe can get his win through playing the Ankh. Next turn, playing the Parallax Tide, exiling all counters worth of lands, and then they come back in. Oh, there's a City Brass. Or can he do it this turn? I don't think he can. It's... No, he can. Right? Because it's 2 for the Ankh, 4 for the Parallax Tide. We're going to get to see the combo kill here. Taking some damage, but it's not going to matter. Do you have an instant speed response to this? I don't think so. So, comes in with 5 counters. He's going to exile 5 lands. They come back in. The Ankh sees him, nug you for 10. We're done with game number 1. well, that was really cool having Joe get to do his thing. Seeing the deck pop off. It really is hard to deal with when it gets going, but I imagine Rokk has brought in every little bit of artifact hate he has in his sideboard. Now, I know he has seals in the main, which I always thought were more of a control-oriented card. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like putting seals main deck is basically saying you can put it down when you have the mana to still hold up interaction. Either way, though, looks like we got a Dark Ritual start here for Rokk. And I think I might have seen a hippie. So we're going to get a repeat, another Dark Ritual hippie start. And if this one sticks around, it might actually be, well, could be game winning. An unanswered hippie, which Joe does not have really a good turn one answer to. Can be brutal. If it starts hitting the right cards, starts hitting your lands, which looks like Joe has a good mix here. Okay, we're gonna put the Avalanche Rider back. Pretty easy mulligan. Taking a point, playing out the ritual, and yep, there's the hippie. Still my favorite thing to do in Magic. It may not always be the best. In fact, it's oftentimes not great because you're 2-for-1ing yourself if they kill it, but Joe's got a bird, so he's got a blocker, but I have to imagine it's not going to be blocking. There's a Wasteland for the City Brass. Oh, maybe it blocked now. We'll see. All right, anyways. Swinging in for 2. Unblocked. I think we're just going to roll here. What does the hippie hit? Man of War. That was an issue last time. Luckily, it doesn't have to deal with it this time. And there's a Duress. And I think the Duress can only hit the Enlightened Tutor, right? Yes. 3 Multani Acolytes, which is going to be a bit hard to play. Okay, we got another bird. It's not a land, but at least we're accelerating a little bit. There's another Dark Ritual for Rokk. I don't know if he has a need to play it, but... Alright, hippie getting in again. Gonna discard one of the Acolytes because they both know that's the only card Joe has in hand. And there's a rather Wretch. Great way to deal with any recursive threats. Lifeline becomes a lot less good. Okay, there's a Multani Acolyte. Draw a card. Bit risky, but he did draw a land off of it. So that works out. And I think, yeah, Rokk just top deck that Wasteland to get rid of the top deck Ancient Tomb. And swinging in again for 2 with the hippie. We got 1 new card potentially. What's it gonna be? Ooh. Yep. Parallax Tide in the bin. I mean, there's no way it was getting played out anytime soon. Yeah, the Echo Cost needed to be paid. Joe opting to not pay the Echo Cost. Instead play out the other Acolyte. Do we hit another land? Yes, there's that Proxy Brush land. I think he has to get to Lava Mancer. I forget what that one is, but it's the ETB. Deals some damage. So Joe's having 1 mana up right now. And I think, yeah, we are hitting 2 of the creatures with a Wretch. Reflecting Pool. And a Cursed Totem, and oh no. Those birds cannot tap for mana anymore. That is rough. They can block. And that might be all they're good for at this point. Yep. Reminding Joe to pay for the Echo Cost, which he cannot. Only having a brush land. Drawn for turn. He does hit a land. Okay, we're back up to 2 lands. And some birds that can be blockers. Are we blocking, double blocking here? No, just blocking one. He doesn't have any cards in hand, but I guess saving himself the 2 damage. Or maybe deciding not to. Nope, just gonna take 4 here. Drop to 11. Maybe a little early to do that for sure. There's a Mana War, which cannot be played. If those birds were active, that is a great sideboard call from Rokk there. The Curse Totem definitely proving its mettle. Okay, we are going to take 2 here from the Withered Wretch, but blocking the Hippie, so Joe giving himself potentially an out. There's a Terminate, that's rough. Or not Terminate, Vindicate. There's a Boomerang, which cannot be cast either. And it's looking like Rokk has got this locked. Gonna take a point. He has a lot of pain lands. Interesting that he didn't use the Reflecting Pool there. I think it's not going to matter. But, yep. Gets swords. And what are we losing? The Boomerang. Joe not having a lot of outs here. I have to imagine the concession's coming pretty soon. That's another... Yep, another Mana War. 4 more coming in. And I'm not sure what out he could be digging for. He drops to 1. Say go. There's a land, but can't do anything with it. And Joe's just going to give him the kill, swing in for the win. And that's going to be game number 2. Alright, a real quick game number 2 showing just how dangerous those hippies can be if left alone. But now Joe's on the play. And will potentially have answers. Yeah, I see 2 Boomerangs in hand, so assuming he can get the mana to pay for them. And he is going to get a bird start here too, which is always great to see. Okay, there's a city and 2 birds. And there's a Duress. Boomerang, a Mystic Snake, Avalanche Rider, Lifeline, and Ancient Tomb. I think you take the Boomerang here. Yeah. The Mystic Snake is annoying, but you can't deal with it. And Rokk real quickly reading the Avalanche Rider. Did Joe draw another land there? Oh, okay, he did. Ancient Tomb. Now, he can power out the Avalanche Rider here. It does make sense. Looks like that's what's going to happen. Yep. Taking 3 damage to do so, but also getting to swing in for 2. Now, Joe can do something kind of tricky here and be able to play out. Yeah, Echo Cost, go there, graveyard. I think the way Lifeline works, as long as he plays it this turn, he can still get the Avalanche Rider back. But only if the birds stays on the field, so if Rokk has a swords, I think it doesn't work. As long as he does it before the trigger.
Ancient Tomb's great, so you start taking 2, 4, 6, 8.
I think that's how it works. Let me know if that's not. Looks like that's not what we're gonna do though. Okay, we're gonna just play out the birds. Land for turn and Duress you. And this time we are gonna grab the Lifeline. Is Lifeline 4 or 5? I guess if he didn't have 5, so he couldn't have played it out. But I thought it was 4. We're gonna look real quick. Oh, random Premodern cards I'm not super familiar with. Gotta love it. It is 5. Okay, so he couldn't have played it. He needed 1 more land drop. Alright, we are wastelanding the City of Brass. Makes sense. Get rid of some of the mana fixing. He does have 2 birds out. But Rokk is just going to pass here. Seemingly not have a lot of action in hand. There's a brush land. And Joe is just going to pass as well. He does have Mystic Snake mana up. And Rock's just going to pass. Playing a bit of a waiting game here, which is a little dangerous against Joe's deck. Once he actually gets to a spot where he can play out a lot of things in one turn, it becomes very difficult to beat him. But missing a land drop here, which is definitely relevant. Alright, we are going to potentially be playing something here. Nope, we're just going to pass. Alright, we got a lot of draw go going on. There's another Mystic Snake, I believe. Okay, we are going to wasteland the Ancient Tomb. Then play out a Withered Wretch. Makes sense. That is a good draw from Rokk. Moving to Joe's turn, another snake. Can't cast it. Are we... Okay, we're going to play out a Mana War. Bounce Withered Wretch. Maybe a bit of lost equity there. Not using the 2 mana floating to exile some of Joe's graveyard. But I think it's alright. Okay, we're going to Dark Ritual. What are we getting? Okay, Withered Wretch. And... Ooh, okay, that explains why he didn't exile anything from the graveyard. Haunting Echoes. Okay, so everything in Joe's graveyard now gets exiled from his deck. So that means no more City of Brasses, no more Ancient Tombs, no more Avalanche Riders, no more Boomerangs, no more Lifelines. And there's a Lifeline right on top. And I believe Haunting Echoes does not look at your opponent's hand, it's just their deck.
I can't get basics, I can get non-basics.
It is definitely a very slow card, but if you can play it, it can be devastating.
Oh, you have your own wastelands.
Yes, so this just hits opponent's graveyard.
Well, set a city?
Or library, sorry. And that is pretty brutal. That is a lot of Joe's lands. There should be one more Ancient Tomb, I think, unless he has it in hand already. Nope. Okay. He might have it in hand. But yeah, all the Boomerangs, all the Lifelines, all the cities. That is a pretty good hit. Now, Joe untapping, and what does he have left? Oh, there's a Wasteland. Not going to be super relevant here, a little bit too late in the game. But it is a land drop. And Rokk just showing him that you got a Caves of Koilos. It's your only target. Go swing for 2. Rokk will take it. And just pass. Notably, Joe does have Mystic Snake mana up now. And Rokk more than happy to trade here, swing for 2. And pass. It looks like we're just going to get a back and forth going here. Joe just going to pass. Keeping the interaction up just in case. But once Rock's able to double spell here, it becomes a bit more difficult. Because he has to try and draw out the counter spell. Okay, try and play out a Seal of Cleansing. Will you counter that? Joe does not have any artifacts or enchantments in hand, I believe, so that does not seem worth countering. So he will not. And then immediately draws an Ankh. Ankh this late in the game, though, unless you draw the Tide, is not really worth it. It is definitely more of a early game get if you can. And yeah, we're just going back and forth here. There's another Seal of Cleansing. You didn't want to counter the first one. At a certain point, though, Joe almost wants to get another body on the board. He has 3 Mystic Snakes. Just flashing one out, even if it lets Rokk double spell. Nope, just going to pass. I mean, he could do it on the end step, too, so Rokk couldn't play any of the mini sorceries he has. Although I don't know if he has any of them in hand, but then again, Joe doesn't know that. Okay, we're going to try and Vindicate here, which will go through. And now, Joe really does have to do something. Gonna exile, swing for 2, and pass. Yeah, Joe has to play to the board at this point. He's in a losing race. Holding up a counter spell is only good if your opponent needs to get ahead. In fact, I'm surprised the Vindicate actually didn't get countered.
It's black-white this time.
Tapping 3. Okay, we are going to shock with a Wretch. And Wasteland Reflecting Pool. That was an interesting call. Because now Joe's leaving himself open to not having mana up. There's a Dark Ritual. If oh, we're just hard casting the Exalted Angel here. Very nice. Alright, that is going to be very tough for Joe to deal with. Without any boomerangs, and really only just Mana Wars, I think, is his only answer. Land 2, Altani's Acolyte to draw a card. Hits his land drop. 3 mana up. Oh, did not pay for the Echo. I always figure that one has Echo as well. But that makes sense. Can't block anything. The birds can be blockers here. Another Multani Acolyte. Draws? I believe that was an Umbilicus. Rokk, of course, having tons of stuff to bounce and can just blow it up with the 2 onboard Seal of Cleansings. Going for 4. Gain 4. Joe going down to 2. And Joe needed an answer this turn, or he's going to have to block with the birds. Also, maybe a missed opportunity there to play out as Enlightened Tutor with the untapped birds. I don't know exactly what he would get that would help him in this situation. Oh, there is a Man of War. That is clutch. And say go. Alright. Yep. Rokk just gonna straight hard cast. Exalted Angel again. Say go. There's another brush land. Joe finding all of his mana now. But in a bit of a sticky spot. I don't think he has the cheap bounce spells left to deal with the angel and still hold up the counter snake. Alright, swing for 4. Yep, got a block with one of the birds. Rokk gains 4. Back up to 18. Feeling very comfortable right about now. There's another blocker, so Joe still able to stall. Alright, we're gonna get a Sylvan Scrying here. How much are we? We're doing it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. Rokk looking for removal spells here to just end this game this turn. If you can find 2 swords, it is game over. Actually, we need 3, because technically... Well, no, actually, just 2, yeah. Mystic Snake could counter 1, but you'd have to tap a bird to do it. So, did we get 2 removal spells? There's the swords on a bird. Not tapping for mana, not countering it. Now... Oh, there's Sylvan Scrying. Are we going to leave up mana just for a swords? Yeah, okay. Taking 4. Draw 4. There's another swords. I think that might be game. Swords the birds. Joe's already on his phone because he knows it's over. Swing in for the win, and that is game number 3. All right, that was a great match. We got to see both decks do their thing. Joe's deck popping off in game 1 was some crazy stuff, but Rokk definitely closing that gap with a more aggressive start. You gotta love those Dark Ritual and hippie starts. I just can't get enough of them. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It does help immensely. I know most of you guys are not subscribed, so if we can get a couple more, we could hit 2K by the end of the year, which would be amazing. We're just over a year of doing this channel. To hit 2K followers is incredible. Thank you all. If you want to support the channel even more, there's a Patreon link in the video description below. That money goes towards gear upgrades, travel expenses, and just making more pre-modern videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.